What's up, everybody? It's Professor Oak, your resident Elden Ring nerd. We got patch 1.07. I've been playing for the past day on this patch, trying to see what I thought about it, get my thoughts together for a video. I know I'm a little late. Most people posted their video yesterday. One day of practice might give me a little bit of a different perspective, so hopefully you'll stick around and hear what I have to say. I'm not going to go through and read every single patch note. I'm sure anybody watching this video probably has. And I'll link the patch under in the description. But right now I'm just going to go through and talk about some interesting things. The first thing that's super cool to me is the separate damage scaling for PvP. That's something that I kind of theorized, like probably in Dark Souls 3, that it would be really cool if that was possible to have the weapons do different damage to other players than the actual PvE. So they've done that. They say that in the future that might be a way that they're going to balance weapons. That's amazing. Love it. Love to see it. Great change. Some PvP exclusive balance adjustments. Increased stamina attack power in PvP for all attacks except for long-ranged weapons. I think it'll be interesting to see exactly what they consider a long-ranged weapon. I haven't done enough to see exactly where the line is drawn. That'll be something really interesting to see. Improved poise damage in PvP for every weapon's normal attack except for skills and long-ranged weapons. So what I'm hearing on the poise is 81, 88, 91. Those are three pretty much new breakpoints. You're going to need at least 81 to be tanking a L1 from dual straight swords. Very important benchmark. I think it was something like maybe 95 to tank a running R2 from the two-handed halberd, or not halberd, excuse me, the heavy thrusting sword. So the poise points being different. Very interesting, very worth noting. With a few exceptions, Power of Ashes of War in PvP has been lowered across the board. Yeah, thank God. Everybody has been saying that. The damage has been too high, significantly too high. From my testing, it seems like nothing is a straight-up one-shot. Pretty much everything has been reduced, even if it's just a little bit, to make the, I guess, the best way that I can describe it is, say Moonveil was leaving you with only 10% health. Well, all it would take after that is a stray R1, which is pretty easy to land, a running R2, something like that, and you are dead. Now it's maybe going to take one or two more hits if you are hit with a Moonveil weapon art, so that's kind of a universal thing across. I have Charizard, the Charizard build with Dragon Breath, was just melting people. Now it's leaving them with enough health to actually, counterplay somehow. I think these are all really healthy changes, like them all. Speaking of the Dragon Breath, all of the Dragon Breaths, as well as the Unendurable Frenzy Madness spell, have been nerfed in power. I've still been one-shot by Unendurable Frenzy, but it could have been my bad play. I haven't went back and watched or anything, but just throwing that out there. Some general balance adjustments. Increased poise damage when using two-handed normal attacks. This is very noticeable. In the background, you're going to see me and one of my friends just kind of testing the patch, playing with some of the new weapons and Ashes of War. Not new weapons, but changed weapons, playing with the changes. And it's very obvious that the two-handed lance, one lance two-handed, is doing significantly more poise damage, is breaking his poise at 100 poise, and the power stance lance L1 is not breaking his poise. Pretty interesting. I think that's a good change. My friend and I talked about it, and I guess it makes sense to us, because if you're using both arms to hit someone with something, the strength of both your arms, you're going to be able to hit a little harder than if you're carrying two heavy-ass things and using one hand on each. So I like things that make sense, and I think it's a healthy change for the game to give you a reason to not power stance. Power stancing is obviously going to do more damage, but two-handing is now going to do more poise damage. I like that a lot. Increase the speed of some Colossal Sword attacks. It seems to be the R1 and R2 only, from what I played. The speed and hit detection of Colossal Sword crouching and rolling attacks has been decreased. The hit detection is a big deal. The speed is apparent and obvious, and it's a good change, very slow. The hit detection might, I think, need to be cleaned up a little bit. A lot of my poking attacks are just kind of going around people, even if I'm right in their face, which may be their intended design, but it feels a little wonky, I guess is the best word. Not really hitting too hard with anything. And as you can see there, Endure is just crazy now. Endured through the ball sack. Very nice. Decreased recovery time for colossal swords and colossal weapons, except for jump attacks, dual-wielded attacks, and attacks while riding. So basically, after you attack, you're able to roll out faster, move out faster, attack again faster. It's a good change since they're nerfing the crouch poke. Gives the colossal, they're not just gutting the colossal swords. Pretty cool. Increased poise damage of hammers, great hammers, and some colossal weapons. I haven't tested much of this. I play with the Axe of Godfrey some, and it feels good. I didn't notice a huge change in the poise damage, but to be real, it already did a pretty staggering amount of poise damage, so could just be to line it up with how they're raising the poise in the game. We'll talk some about that later when that patch note comes up. Increased guard penetration for the following weapons. Now look, I know I said I wasn't going to read every single thing, but it looks like I'm going to read a lot of them, so hopefully that's okay. Celebrant Sickle, Nox Flowing Sword, Shodel, Eclipse Shodel, Vulgar Militia Shodel, Scythe, Grave Scythe, Halo Scythe, Wing Scythe. At one point, me and my buddy, we tested this out. I was using the Vulgar Militia Shodel, and he was using the Distinguished Great Shield, sorry, lisp. But anyways, it does do a good bit more damage on block. It's not significant. It's not what I was hoping, but it is a buff. Could be usable, especially with the shield nerf that we're also going to talk about later, and just the, in general, more stamina damage. Shields may not be as strong now, so doing a little extra damage and maybe guard breaking them after 2 hits, maybe 3 hits, it could be very good, very viable. The poise rating of some attacks has been increased for the following weapons: great swords, colossal swords, curved great swords, great axes, great hammers, great spears, halberds. So the poise system is going to work to where pretty much everyone is going to be getting staggered by bigger weapons, and with halberds, depending on how much they're increasing the poise rating, it might be impossible to tank a halberd R1 now, at least a running R1. That'll require a lot more testing. We'll know more about it in the days and I guess week or 2 to come. I'm sure lots of videos will be posted by me and others, but yeah, for now, not too sure about this, but I mean, more poise damage when poise is easier to get. We already needed more poise damage from weapons just to make them viable. These classes themselves, I don't know how much that will be useful for them. They're already kind of slower swinging weapons, outside of maybe halberd, but if great spears are like a guaranteed poise break, that's amazing. I already love playing with great spears. I think they're one of the best weapon classes in the game. But okay, with some exceptions, poise of all armor has been increased. So that's what I'm talking about. This build that you're looking at right now on screen, that's my favorite setup of armor. Previous to this patch, it was 77 poise with Bullgoat's Talisman, and now I believe it is 92, which is a phenomenal increase. Lots of armors are going to get this increase. It's going to be easier to reach these breakpoints, but again, the breakpoints have risen as well to around 81 instead of 61. Not sure how this is going to play out in the long term. It might feel very similar. From what I'm feeling, it seems like everyone staggers easier because of the poise damage the weapons got. So maybe it's not as important. Poise isn't. But reaching those high numbers is also going to net you some defensive increases that I think makes the heavier armor still the choice to make. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. The effects of the Great Shield and Hammer Talisman have been increased. Neither of these were too useful in PvP as it was. Not sure how that will work out. We'll see. Some effects of the spell Scholar Shield, the Barricade Shield, and Shield Grease have been adjusted. Basically, if you use them on low guard shields, it's going to do better than if you use them on high guard shields. The guard strength of the Fingerprint Stone Shield has been decreased. One of the most toxic things in the game, to be honest, so good, very good. Decrease the status buildup done by dual-wielded weapons. Very, very good. I've been playing the game. It takes about 1 more hit from dual spears, so I mean, it's not the most incredible change. Spears, thrusting weapons, probably still going to be pretty meta, guys. Prepare for that. But status buildup lowering is cool. My main boy with the dual cold straight swords might need to be changed up a little bit, get some more damage optimization, but still, I'm thrilled for that change, even if it does affect my main, because damn, some other scummy shit was not cool to deal with. And then we have balance adjustments for magic and incantations. Now, I'm not going to read every single one of these. This is the point where I'm probably going to start skipping around. But it looks like several of these spells have their FP cost decreased. Some of them have some damage. Some of things like Assassin's Approach, the sneaky, invisibility spell, has the time expended. or time extended, not expended, but yeah, regardless. So, pretty cool changes for magic. If you're a mage guy, this might be time to try out some of these spells. Even Stars of Ruin got a buff. That's pretty cool after it kind of got gutted last patch. Um, yeah, some really cool things. Things like Adula's Moonblade and the Black Blade weapon art, that kind of like shoot something along with a sword conjure animation, whatever you want to call it. They got adjusted to where the blade and the magic will hit at the same time, and the damage for both got nerfed, so maybe it'll do more overall, but less per hit. I'm not exactly sure, but sounds cool. Some things like Zamor Ice Storm and the Stormcaller Ash of War got their range and damage increased. Pretty cool. Pretty much everything is going to be worth playing with again. It's like a brand new game, completely meta changing. I'm here for it. I love it. The little bit that I've played has felt night and day better. Had a few cool invasions, had a few cool duels, played with my friend, and we pretty much tried everything that we had in our inventory at the time to test out the patch. I love it. I'm going to need a lot more data, a lot more examples in like real gameplay where I'm not talking to my friend and telling him what to do, or like we're not just like laughing. Need some real time, some sweats. I need to sweat a little before I like fully form my opinion. But it all sounds really good. Yeah, rot status reduced for those breath, the rotten breath and Ezekiel's decay, or Ezekiel's decay rather. Very good. Balance adjustment of skills. Increased attack power is listed on a lot of these, but I've heard G9 say, and I also believe this to be true after some testing, that really, like, since everything got decreased in damage, the increase in damage patch notes is more to, like, put them in line with stronger things so that everything's not just weak now. It seems to be, like, what that is. A lot of the buff Ashes of War have had their time, like the buff time, increased. Things like Poison Mist have been buffed. It's pretty cool. A lot of Ashes of War had their time to basically, if you threw a pot or used an item and then used your Ash of War, that time, the lag between, so to say, has been shortened. And for at least like one or two, the lag for after you do the Ash of War, you're going to be able to cancel out of those quicker. Very cool things. Like I said, I'll put the patch notes in the description. We went over the more general things, the specific things I'm going to test out, and maybe have videos for the more interesting changes. But that's what we're looking at. Brand new game, guys. Completely new meta. I love it. I'm here for it. Hope you guys will play with me some. We can test it out. I'll be streaming a lot this weekend and next week just to kind of get a hang of this. My opinions right now, dual lance and dual straight swords are going to be very, very powerful. The Serpent Hunter is probably my favorite weapon right now, followed up by like the either Lord Sworn or Noble Slender Swords. Love it. Can't wait to see you guys some. Hope you liked the video. Love you. Smell you later.